Hello, this is the Poison Supply Weekly Brief from Logan's Voice. I'm Doug Ballinger, Logan's dad. Each week, in addition to our other podcasts, I'll bring you the most important updates on America's poison drug supply, fentanyl, counterfeit pills, xylazine, and other emerging threats. My mission is simple: to keep families informed, to honor the voices of those we've lost, and to shine a light on the truth. Because when we understand what's really happening, we can protect our loved ones, support our communities, and save lives. We can't afford to tune this out. The crisis doesn't pause. And the more we learn together, the stronger we become. Let's get into this week's headlines. DEA seizures surge in 2025. The Justice Department reported that since January, the DEA has seized over 44 million fentanyl pills and more than 4,500 pounds of fentanyl powder across the U.S. That's enough poison to kill millions of people. Over 2,100 arrests were tied directly to fentanyl trafficking. These are historic numbers. But remember, seizures only tell part of the story. For every load intercepted, others slip through. And those pills aren't staying at the border. They're ending up in high schools, college towns, workplaces, and neighborhoods like yours and mine. Xylazine, widespread in U.S. fentanyl supply. The DEA has warned that fentanyl mixed with xylazine is now a coast-to-coast problem. In 2022, about 23% of fentanyl powder seizures and 7% of fentanyl pill seizures tested positive for xylazine. Xylazine isn't an opioid. That means naloxone will reverse the fentanyl, but it can't treat the xylazine. A person may stay unconscious or in medical distress even after Narcan is given. This makes overdoses harder to respond to, more dangerous, and more likely to be fatal. Families need to know Narcan still works and should always be used. But if someone doesn't wake up right away, call 911 and keep giving rescue breaths until help arrives. Next, California Task Force seizes 650,000 pills and more than 1,000 pounds of fentanyl powder in just 2 months this year. And that's just California. Officials say the counterfeit pill trade is expanding because it's easy, cheap, and incredibly profitable. One pill can be made for less than 50 cents and sold for $20 or $30. That's a return on investment that fuels non-stop production. And those pills are designed to look safe. They're stamped, colored, and polished to look identical to prescription medications. That's why the phrase "one pill can kill" isn't just a slogan, it's a fact. Next, Honduran nationals extradited for fentanyl distribution. There were 2 Honduran nationals were extradited to the United States this month to face federal charges of conspiring to distribute multi-kilogram amounts of fentanyl. Investigators say they were part of a trafficking cell with cartel ties. What this tells us is that the poison supply isn't just a local dealer problem. These are sophisticated international networks with supply chains stretching from overseas, chemical suppliers to cartel pill mills to dealers in our own towns. That's why the problem feels endless, because the pipeline is global. Next is a global operation nets record synthetic drug seizures. Interpol's Operation Lionfish Mayag 3, a multi-country crackdown, led to record-setting global seizures of synthetic drugs, including fentanyl. The operation uncovered production sites, smuggling routes, and entire networks. This is proof that fentanyl is not just America's nightmare. It's a worldwide crisis. And if multiple nations need to join forces to fight it, you can understand how complex and far-reaching this has become. Now, let's go deeper into that DEA number. 44 million fentanyl pills seized in just 6 months. That number is staggering. If every pill contained a lethal dose, that's enough to wipe out the U.S. population. These aren't sloppy homemade products. They're professional counterfeits. Cartels use high-grade pill presses to make fake oxycodone, Xanax, or Adderall pills that are almost impossible to distinguish from real medications. Even pharmacists can be fooled. Why so many? The answer is money. A kilo of fentanyl powder costs a few $1,000s. The same kilo can be pressed into 500,000 pills and sold for millions. That's the economic engine driving the crisis. The cartels don't care about human life, they care about profit. And the danger? There's no quality control. Some pills in a batch may have no fentanyl at all. Others may contain several lethal doses. That's why people die after just one pill. It isn't a moral failing, it's Russian roulette with almost every chamber loaded. This isn't just a border issue. Yes, much comes through Mexico, but the distribution is nationwide. Pills move quickly from cities to rural counties, from the East Coast to the Midwest to the West Coast. Every community is touched. Parents and grandparents, hear me. The old just say no message isn't enough anymore. The new message is clear. You cannot trust any pill unless it comes directly from a pharmacy. Period. Not from a friend, not online, not from someone you think you trust. One pill can take everything from you. And for me, this is more than numbers. My son Logan thought he was using heroin, but his last dose wasn't heroin. It was poisoned with fentanyl and xylazine. That's why I'm speaking. That's why I keep speaking. The supply is poison and no pill is safe. So when you hear about 44 million pills being seized, don't just hear a big number. Think of it as 44 million possible funerals avoided. And then remember, if that was caught, how many more are already out there? The numbers are overwhelming. The headlines can feel hopeless, but here are the things you can do. Real practical things. Step one, talk to your kids. Not with judgment, not with fear, but with honesty. Ask them what they know. Ask what they're seeing at school or online. Make the conversation safe, not shameful. Let them know the truth. Counterfeit pills are everywhere and there are no second chances. Step two, carry naloxone. You can find it at many pharmacies, often free. Community programs hand it out, and it's easy to use, even if you think you'll never need it. You might be the one who saves a life in a parking lot, at a ball game, or at a family gathering. And step three, share the message. Post about it. Talk about it at church. Bring it up in parent groups. Many people still don't realize this isn't an addict problem. It's a community problem. And it takes every one of us sounding the alarm to change that. And step four, plug into resources. Visit logansvoice.org for guides, naloxone links, and support groups. If you're grieving, don't grieve alone. If you're struggling, reach out. If you want help, get involved. This movement needs you. The poison supply has taken too many already, but awareness, preparedness, and community can save lives. And that starts with each of us. That's this week's Poison Supply Weekly Brief. These numbers aren't just statistics, they're stories, they're families, they're futures stolen by a system that profits from poison. If today's episode made an impact, I ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit logansvoice.org. The more views and subscribers we get, the more algorithm will show this information, and together we can get this message out further and wider to save lives. Stay aware and remember, you are not alone in this fight. For resources and support, visit logansvoice.org. I am Logan's voice. I am Logan's dad, and I will not be silent.